I have a deep faith in God, and I know that God is directing my path. So whenever I look back, I don't have resentment. I don't have regret. I don't have bitterness. I know that God is with me in the battle, in the challenge that I'm in, and he's walking next to me, leading me, guiding me. So I just have faith and trust that God is leading me through it. And then even if this feels like, man, I don't feel like I got the value out of that, there is a purpose for that. Keep moving, right? Those are my beliefs and my convictions.
At some point, you realize the numbers you're hitting aren't measuring the life you're living. Welcome to Quit the Quota. I'm Darryl Miedico.
And I am Marya Ryan. This is the podcast for professionals, especially sales professionals, who've done what they were supposed to do and still found themselves questioning whether that version of success really fits.
Each episode features honest conversations with people who stepped outside the traditional mold, along with reflections from our own years in the corporate world.
Quit the Quota isn't about quitting ambition. It's about defining success on your terms. Hi, Darryl.
Hey, Marya.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Me too.
Great, beautiful, sun shining day today. It's warming up. It's hot. It's actually going to be hot out later on today. I got to get the deck furniture out. Ashley made a point to say to me, when are you going to get that out?
You gotta get it out and then you got to clean it. Like there's two phases. You can't just like pop it out there and it's ready to go, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I got to take care of all that.
Do you have a honey-do list? I
do. Oh, absolutely. I always have one. I've got a football scrimmage tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that. At an Ivy League school. So looking forward to that. So when you see me on the next show, this is all going to be gone because I can't have this on the football field tomorrow.
Are we keeping the stash though is my question.
I will be keeping the stash.
All right, we're going full fireman mode then.
So very funny though about this whole thing. Ashley said to me when I told her I had to get rid of it for an upcoming scrimmage, she said to me, she goes, "But you're keeping the mustache, right?" Which is like bizarre to me because at first she was like,
"What is it?" Yeah, that's now your thing.
But so now I think we're okay with it.
All right, okay with it. Hey, we're good. I love it.
Now the question, like you said, the question is like, how far do I bring down the handlebars?
Yeah, how far can you go? Are you gonna twist it or no? Maybe that's crazy.
I might do the old.
Oh, you can pull it off. You could totally do it. Well, I am great. Yeah. I mean, where I live, it's warm. We've already had all of our flowers come and go. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for the warmth and to get outside because it felt like a really cold, snowy winter, even for down here. I'm in the mid-Atlantic. So, which is great. Out on the path, running and all that good stuff with my dog. So I'm really happy today to share with everyone. We have a guest. Darryl, would you like to give me like just a little bit of an insight on who we have?
We've got a very successful former W-2 employee, now transitioned to entrepreneur. Super excited to have him on. Let's bring him right into the room.
All right, cool.
There he is, Jeremiah.
Darryl, what's up, Marya?
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you. Yeah, I'm good. I'm up in Mammoth right now in Central California. Gonna do some snowboarding this week.
I was gonna say, are we skiing or what?
I snowboard. I learned 7 years ago at the ripe age of 31 because I didn't have the opportunity as a kid. And I'm very intermediate, but I love being up in the mountains. It's like one of my favorite things. So.
Absolutely. Get your head clear and it's just nature and escape the world a little bit.
Absolutely. Especially when I live in LA. So it's a
wow.
metropolis and there's always something going on. And so kind of disconnecting, driving 4 or 5 miles away or 5 hours away and just getting in nature is really,
that's
really
awesome. Nice. I'm so excited to have you on. I know that this is my first time meeting you. I know that you know Darryl though a little bit.
Yes, we have a history for sure. He played a big role in my entrepreneurial kind of activities in the beginning before I was a full-time entrepreneur. He was a coach of mine who helped me a ton. So I'm super excited to be here.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, so sweet, Darryl.
Yeah, great. Well, I mean, one of the top students too. I mean, you gotta, I can only work with the clay that's presented to me, right? So
that's true. That's true.
The most important question of the day today: are you in a hotel or an Airbnb, Verbo, today?
I'm actually in a ski lease, so I'm breaking the rules. A buddy of mine, he leased it up for 6 months, and then he puts a couple other people on like a ski lease. And so, but I am moving to a Airbnb tonight.
Okay.
For the weekend.
Awesome.
So.
All right. So you have to let me know how it is, how it stacks up to what we consider to be top in our primary businesses, right? So
Absolutely.
Well, again, I'm excited to have you here as well. Your growth, your journey, right? What you've put together is absolutely amazing. It's inspiring, and that's why you need to be on the show. That's why you have to be here. So for people who don't know you, which is the world, so maybe you can kind of run through, who you are, a little bit of your backstory, and kind of just go from there a little bit, and we'll play a little pitch and catch.
Sure. Yeah. I grew up in Southern California in Los Angeles and had a very normal lower middle class upbringing. And before I even, bought into the conventional wisdom of going to college, getting a degree and all that, I kind of fettered off the path and started partying and drinking and drugs and got in trouble with the law, and then reset my life in 2011, where I decided that I'm going to be sober. I'm going to be focused on, making an impact in my life and people around me. Instead of tearing people down, I'm going to build everyone up. So I had a real shift and a real major catalyst.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then I bought into the conventional wisdom of I should go to college, I should get a degree and work for the man, and then I'll be good. I'll have made it at that point. So in 2012, I went back to community college. And in 2014, I was accepted to the USC business school undergrad, which I wasn't even going to apply because I just didn't think I was good enough, or I just didn't think I'd get in. My uncle went there and he's like, dude, apply at least. Come on, man. I'll pay for the application fee. What's wrong with you? What are your grades? I'm like, well, I have pretty much all A's. He's like, why do you think you're not good enough, man? So he helped me break out of that limiting belief system.
What a phenomenal uncle.
Yeah. I ended up working for him later on. So
awesome.
Great guy, big pillar in my life. So I ended up going to USC, getting multiple internships, and I was striving for this goal for 6-7 years, to get this kind of job. I worked in valuation. I worked in investment banking and finance. I just majored in finance and graduated in 2018, got my first salary, worked in downtown LA. I had bought a BMW. I was looking for a girl. I feel like I was hot shit. I made it.
Yeah.
And, until I realized a few years later that my savings account wasn't going up. My prospects of basically lifestyle creep was eating up all my profits, every single month.
Right.
And I just couldn't wrap my head around being my boss's boss for the next 40 years. Cause I didn't want to be my boss. I didn't want to be my boss's boss. I saw how they lived their life. I saw the kind of money that they made, the hours that they worked. It didn't seem intriguing or exciting to me at all. So I started to have a pivot. 2019, 2020, 2021, I started really thinking about how can I become an investor? Maybe I could start a small side hustle. I started listening to Bigger Pockets. I started reading different books. Ended up joining a mastermind in 2021 about regarding apartment syndication, raising capital. Because at the time, I was working at MetLife in their commercial real estate branch, where I was in asset management, so overseeing a big portfolio, over $1 billion worth of apartments, industrial buildings, office buildings, retail strip centers, those kind of things. So I was at the pinnacle of commercial real estate at this big company. And it was like, man, I don't want to be here. This isn't what I want to do. But I decided that maybe I can raise money to invest in apartments and that could work. Until I started realizing I have to raise millions and millions and millions of dollars, and the asset management fees are going to be like in the hundreds every single month. And I'm like, I can't live on that. First of all, to raise millions of dollars, I want a higher return. So that's what pivoted me out of that. And I did a house hack, and I bought a house and rented out the rooms. I renovated the backyard. I bought in February of 2020, leased it up. COVID hit. I sold it in June 2022. Prices skyrocketed. made over, I don't know, $125,000 in 2 years. And I something clicked in my head, and I'm like, this was it. I found something. Like I'm not exactly going to house hack everything for the rest of my life, but something here worked. So that kind of led me to that spot, which is right before I decided to get into the midterm rental, short-term rental space in summer of 2022. So.
Wow. What a journey, man. I mean, just rolling back for a minute, just your journey of getting, like you said, pivoting your life and making better life choices. And there's plenty of listeners that have been in, hit lows, and then you made the decision to climb out. But what I love is you mentioned that you had limiting beliefs back then, and you had a person come up and tell you, what's your problem, bro? Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
I'll cover your costs for your application. Just do it. When he said that to you at that moment, did you know you had a limiting belief, or what did it feel like at that moment?
Yeah, because my grandfather said the same thing, and he's like, my grandfather had taken some courses at USC, and his dad had graduated from USC, and they're like, it's in the family, man. Like, what do you think? Why are you thinking that you couldn't do what we've done?
Right.
And so, I started to think like, maybe I need to think a little bit higher of myself and my capacity and my capabilities.
100%.
So, yeah.
We're that's a common theme. It's a common theme for probably 98%, and I'm probably undershooting it. 98% of humanity probably has that exact same, am I undervaluing myself, right? Like, if you really look at it.
Yeah.
For you, why do you think that was? Why do you think that you didn't see it in yourself? Because it sounds like you had the environment around you a little bit, right? They've done it. So what was the gap, do you think, maybe for you?
I think, there could be some, things growing up where I didn't think that I fit in. I went to this really wealthy school, and everybody, but I lived in like the hood. And so like their parents were doctors and lawyers and successful business owners, but like, mine weren't. And I rented my house in the hood, and they owned their house. So there was a little bit of that, which is just conditioning from the world around us. But then also I think it was the fear to be the fear to fail, like if I don't try, then I didn't fail. Right.
Mm-hmm. So good.
So fear of criticism.
Yep.
Fear of criticism. Yep. Fear of what other people think about me. If, I applied and I didn't get in, but if I didn't apply, then they couldn't have rejected me. Right. Fear of rejection. Right. So I think it was a compilation of those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it sounded like it was your uncle. Your uncle was kind of the proverbial kick in the butt a little bit, or you were kind of already on the path yourself, mentally kind of getting there?
Yeah, I got an opportunity to work in parking property management back in 2013, 14, 15, 16, while I was going to USC. And it was like a 25, 30-hour week job. And, I get to interact with this guy, right? He's a very successful business owner, making good money, has a nice house, goes on nice vacations. Like he's living the dream, right? And he was kind of the only one in my family kind of doing that well. Mm-hmm. And so he'd have conversations with me and inspire me and motivate me. And, like he'd say things like, you're going to be a very successful CEO one day. And he's like, and then one day he said, you should be running a, 8-figure business someday. And I'm making, $15 an hour. And I was just partying my brains out a few years ago, right, doing nothing with my life. I'm renting a room out, and I just started to believe what he told me.
You started to adopt his belief of you.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So, wow. And then getting into that college was good for me because I was surrounded by people like in high school who were entrepreneurial or had these higher aspirations in life. And I got to rub shoulders with people who had very just ambitious goals. And as I was older, I was in my mid-late 20s, and these guys, gals were younger. I kind of got to see from a different vantage point, and I got everything that guy does. And some, because he's only 20, and he's wanting to do that. Why couldn't I do that?
Yeah.
Right.
So I also think the peer group that I was in years prior was a bunch of, I was the low life and they were all low life. We were all just not really doing much with anything. And so
Yeah.
being in the right peer group, putting yourself in the right environment of people who are pushing themselves is paramount, I think, for success.
Well, it's everything. I mean, look at the direction, the fork in the road for you.
You could have still been in that initial group. Right?
You had the energy of your leader, who was a great leader. The energy of that person transmuted to you. Right. And you started to adopt that energy. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was transformational for sure. And so, I mean, that really led me into believing that masterminds, business coaching, being in groups of people who are doing what I want to do, even if I don't think I can do it right now, put myself in the group where they all think they are all doing it. Was the key to my success the last 4 years since I ended up joining multiple masterminds in the midterm rental and short-term rental space.
That's amazing. So you talked about, okay, you pivoted, you started to build this belief system, your mindset started to change, you went to school, you got accepted clearly, so it was worth the effort. And you started to work and making the money and feeling like the man. You're noticing your bank account is staying the same, not really growing that wealth. But I want you to talk to us a little bit about, you said, I was observing the people that I was working for and I didn't want to be like that. What was it specifically that you didn't want to be like?
Well, a couple of the individuals that I worked for were very stressed out. They worked very long hours. They weren't super excited and passionate about what they were doing. I think they enjoyed it and they liked it. And it wasn't a total, like they just hated their lives kind of thing, but they weren't inspired and motivated and drawn forward with this kind of enthusiasm that I started to pick up when I thought about entrepreneurship and investing. And so kind of fell flat, and it became more of like, like I'm just going to work here for 30 years and max out my 401k. And, maybe at 65, I'll get to travel. And I thought that sounds horrible. Sounds like,
100%.
So
that's miserable. Why are we waiting? Why are you delaying living a more fulfilled life?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and this life is so short, and I've had multiple uncles die in the last 4 months. I had my mom pass last month, which is devastating.
I'm so sorry.
And thank you. The realization is that this life is extremely short. We have one shot to go for it. And I'm always going to have some level of fear. That's okay. That's exciting. I need to be courageous and walk through that and face that, because life is short anyways, right?
I love
that
message.
Yeah.
So you saw them and you were like, yeah, I don't want to live like that. Life's too short. Obviously, lately you've even had more of that. So you started to, what made you decide? Because there's a moment, like you said, you felt the fear, but you pushed through it. What was that moment for you that you were like, yeah, this W-2 world is not it for me. So I need to go start working over here. What was the moment?
I would say it was probably spring of 2022, or actually early summer, when I sold that home and I saw that massive deposit in my bank. And I had been at MetLife, which was like goal to get to this big corporate commercial real estate. I manage $1 billion in assets, and this kind of like, I want to be that guy, right? and I did, and it was nothing that I wanted. And then I saw this little side thing that I had done, which is me and I rented out to a couple buddies and whatever, and ended up making way more than I did in this big corporate cool job. And I thought, I'd rather be the noble in my nobledom than a soldier in the king's army kind of thing. Like, I would rather have my own little business versus working for someone else. And so that's when I joined Mastermind. I paid, 10, 15, $18,000 to join these masterminds because I was convinced, hearing stories on podcasts, reading books, interacting with individuals, I was convinced that it's possible to build a successful business, and it's something that I can do and I will do. And I developed a persistence and relentlessness that I'm not going to stop until I get it done. I think that was the clincher.
So amazing.
Not going to stop until you get it done. I like that part right there. So, I mean, I talk about this person all the time, and you actually might like this person because from Southern California, you might like this person, Tom Brady.
Yep.
Right? Do you like him? Do you hate him? I don't know. It's like 50-50 that guy. All right.
He's great.
All right. There we go. Some people hate Tom Brady because he's won a lot, right? So, but you just have to be relentless with it, right? It's like, I'm removing the guardrails. There is no plan B. This is it. I'm going. I know my purpose. I know my why. I'm going. And it sounds like you did exactly that. Was that had to be scary in the moment though, or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe you were so definite in it. Maybe you were fine with it. But you tell me.
Well, I had there were a year or two there where I had wanted these dreams, and what really gave me fear and anxiety was becoming my boss and my boss's boss. That was actually a bigger fear of mine. Like, I don't want to be this guy, this person. Like, God bless them. Maybe that's what they wanted. Like, I don't want to, maybe that's their dream and their vision for life. But for me and what I desired to do with my life.
Oh, wow. We have fireworks. That's amazing timing.
How we did that. That's beautiful. We're going to leave that.
Yes, we are. Celebration.
But for my life, that was hysterical. Like, I desire something different. I desire to be this other person. And so there's two directions in front of me. I could continue the corporate path for the next 30, 40 years, or I could venture off and do something else. And if I'm going to venture off and do something else, in my mind, the way it'll work is if I sell out 100%. Like I did when I was playing football or any sport, playing basketball or baseball or anything else in my life that was difficult, like getting into USC or whatever I had going on. It's like, if I sell out and give everything that I am to this thing, the probability of it working is really high, especially if I never quit. It's a game that there's no time clock. I mean, maybe death, but that's the only time. If I never give up, I never lose.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it.
Well, death, there can be no fear of death. Fear of death is another basic universal fear. It's coming. We're all going to die. All right. So do you, and what I have a mentor who shared this with me, which I absolutely love, that, I mean, we don't know the purpose of life, but it's said by someone much smarter than me, that the purpose of life is when you get to the pearly gates, you get to the afterlife, when you get to that moment, okay, you're going to be shown your life, and you're going to be shown next to it the life that you could have had. And the goal is to get those lives as close as humanly possible with your time on this earth. Now, I don't know if that's the meaning of life or not, but to me, it's just, that was always a very sobering thought. It's like, okay, like, how much can I push this? What can I do? Right. And to your point, time is limited. Mm-hmm. And if I don't want to do this, if I don't enjoy this, then why the hell am I doing it?
And Jeremiah had that you had that opportunity, like you just said. You saw two different lives, and it sounds like, because you said something. I want to get your thoughts on this. You said, I could stay and do this corporate cool job. I'm putting this in quotes. Right. Okay. But this is important because there is kind of two schools of thought in this game of life with work, right? You have those that believe that corporate is the answer. And like you said, we're not knocking it. if you're having success and you've built your own corporate company or whatever it is, if you're happy, that's amazing. But if you feel there's another calling, why do you think it's almost like taboo to certain people to talk about doing the entrepreneurial stuff versus staying in and they name it this corporate cool job? There's this perception. You were able to see both.
Yeah. I think, and I was talking to my old man about this, who's about 30 years my senior, pushing 70 in the next year or two. And he is baffled by my decisions. He supports me in love, and I show him my profit, and he's like, okay, that's pretty good. But he grew up in a different world, right? And even my uncle grew up in a different world. When I ended up leaving him, like there's a little bit of shock and like, really? It seems risky. And the way, from my vantage point, what's riskier is wasting my life doing something I hate. That's riskier. And then also from a logical perspective, when you just look at mathematics and scalability of a business that countless people have, dozens and dozens of hundreds of people have run vacation rental management businesses. Like, this is not something new. I'm not creating a new app. I'm not Elon Musk trying to go to Mars. Like, this is just a property management business with short-term rentals. Like, it's easy. The path is laid in front of me. So the risk there is so minimal. I get to hear so many people's experience and listen to my business coach and others that the scalability that I think, even if it doesn't scale at the speed that I want it to over the next 3, 5, 10, 12 years, is so much higher than the potential of a corporate job where you get 5%.
Right.
Increase, 10%.
If you're lucky, if you're not part of a layoff.
If you're lucky. No, just in general.
Yeah, right.
If you're lucky.
Just if you're lucky. And that was an addition to, right?
Yes.
Because you said something, and Darryl and I talk about this so much, that it's wildly interesting to me that people think that the entrepreneurship is riskier than your W-2 or your corporate job. Now, for some people, they're blessed and they have not had experiences that have dragged them down, or they've been laid off, or they've had shifts of leaders, because there's no guarantee in either situation.
Exactly. And I think personally, the best way to do it is keep your job, build a side hustle, build a foundation, build a proof of concept, have a little experience. This is just some people think burn the boats, quit, and just go for it, right? Which I can respect that. If you have money in the bank, you can do that.
Yeah, sure.
But in my scenario was, I'm going to build it on the side. I'm going to scale this thing up as I still have the income coming in. And I've heard people say, well, I work too much, I can't do both. Well, then get into a job where you can do both.
Yes.
Like, how committed are you to this thing? Are you going to reposition your whole life to make this thing work? So I think it's way less, because doubling my properties under management every year and doubling my profit every year, which is, I think, a lower goal. Like, I want to exceed that exponentially. That's a 100% increase year over year. You're never going to get that in a corporate job, ever.
No, never.
And the way my business runs now, it's like I have 20 properties under management. So I have 20 revenue sources.
It's amazing.
At my job, I had one. So it's all eggs in one basket. Hopefully it all works out, right? It's like, if you put all your money in one stock, you're really just anxious about that stock going up or down. But if you're diversified and you have 20 different relationships, 20 different properties, 20 different revenue sources, you're just in a safer position.
Phenomenal advice. Okay, so I'm going to ask the question, because this is going to be about, you mentioned Darryl in the beginning and how he helped you start to really make some of these decisions, changes, and push towards that life that you want, the crafted life that Jeremiah wants, not what your dad wants, not your cousin, your uncle, whatever. What is it that you want? So talk to me a little bit about that journey, because I'm curious, because I wasn't there watching.
Yeah. So June of 2022, actually a month or two before that, I joined a midterm rental arbitrage mastermind. And I got to say, this group probably gave me 20 to 25% of the value that I paid for. But I did get some value. It wasn't a complete scam, I'll say, but I did, I don't feel like I got the bang for my buck. But what it did do is it propelled me forward to start a business. So I in June of 2022, I signed a lease for 2 homes, front house, back house. And I did midterm rental arbitrage for 12 months and lost $50,000. Got my butt handed to me, right? That was the beginning of my experience. But I had just had a big win with this house hack and the sale. So fast forward a year later, I couldn't get a permit in LA for short term because I realized I needed short term because I would have a couple months of like, oh, I made $4,000 last month. I made $5,000 last month. I'm killing it. Then the next month I lost 12 because I couldn't get anything because I didn't have any short term capability. So I realized a year later I need to be able to do short and mid, and I wanted the percentage of revenue property manager co-hosting model seemed to make more sense to me. It was a less risky model. And coming from a commercial real estate background, we'd have, let's say, parking garages, and there would be different operators. One operator gets a management fee. They get $2,000 a month. One operator signs a lease for $20,000 plus they get profit share. One of them just gets a profit share. So I'm used to, when I came across this new style, this new model, it made a bunch of sense and it immediately clicked in my head. So I joined STR Secrets in September of 2023, and October. I started watching the videos in September. October 1 was my official start date, and I was blessed with Darryl's presence every Monday on our sales calls, which was awesome because I had never cold called. And I would say that I have a sales kind of mindset, and I'm a good salesman just because of my personality, I think. And then I've developed boundaries. If someone doesn't feel like someone's trying to squeeze something out of me, I'm just like, oh, I'm good. Like, I'll just move on, which is a good mindset to have. But getting that practical advice in real time on these calls with Darryl and others it was huge for me. And I specifically remember there's a home in the Hollywood Hills that we still run. It's our crown jewel property. It does over 250 a year in revenue. And I remember being in communication with the owner, and I'm kind of freaking out. Like I just left my corporate office to go for a walk, but I'm really on STR. And I'm like talking to Darryl. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do. He's going to pull out. His fire insurance is too high. And I remember him kind of prepping me for the next conversation, prepping me for what I should say, how to approach it, and am I willing to kind of cut on rate, to whatever, all these kind of things. And ended up closing that deal, and it's been doing phenomenal for us. And the owners are super happy. So yeah, definitely the next 12 months in STR Secrets, I learned a ton. I got more bang for my buck. It made up for the last one. Yeah.
So it's interesting. You've talked about the importance of, by the way, thank you. So happy to hear that, and always enjoy our time together with that. So when you talked about the importance of masterminds, right? The mindset, the community, what that brings, right? Coaching, what that brings. I think what's important though is to acknowledge that, yeah, there are some programs out there that, let's just say for a moment, that are just a bad fit depending upon your goals and depending upon what you want to do. I'm just going to say it for that. And maybe, there's some out there that are scammy and horrible, and that can happen. I get that. Okay. But for purposes of the discussion, let's just say that all masterminds are great and they're meant to help and all that good stuff, right? What do you think are some questions or some things that you learned from that situation where you've invested into potentially a mastermind that you wouldn't have invested into it again? What would you have asked differently? What would you have tried to uncover? What would you have tried to flush out? Because this is an important one that we're going to encourage. I know for me, I'm going to encourage to listeners, specifically anyone that I meet, you need to get the right environment. And if you have that right environment today, then great, but you probably don't. So you probably should be joining some type of program, some type of mastermind, but you got to be careful not to get bit. You were bit on one in particular. Just curious to know what your learnings were from that.
Yeah, I mean, now that I have more experience and I've been in more groups and more masterminds, I'm in one to this day. I can kind of see and identify where this specific group went wrong. And I mean, part of their deal was you was like 10 grand in 12 weeks of work and then you're out kind of thing. And that already feels pretty quick.
Bit of a pressure cooker almost.
Yeah, it's like get in, churn and burn. And so I like the 6-month programs, the 12-month programs, like the ones that are longer. And I think doing more research up front on the person who's running the mastermind, the other coaches in the mastermind, kind of identifying, because it's not usually not just one person, it's multiple people. Sometimes it is just one person. And then talking to people who are in the group, who have graduated from the group, who are in the group right now, what their experience is, what they're getting out of it. So I didn't do as much research as I probably should have in the first go around on that group. So that's my fault, but I still gleaned positive, like it still pushed me in the right direction, even despite that. So
for sure. No, I've commonly said that everything that has led you to here, all your experiences, positive, negative, right, neutral, right, all of them happen for a reason. And you are the person you are today because of those experiences. So without that experience, I mean, a immediate direct correlation would be that without investing into the MTR arbitrage mastermind that you were in, it never would have got you to the short-term rental one through Mike Sjogren and that team. And you and I never would have met. And then when that opportunity came down, even if you were in the right place to see it for the home in the Hollywood Hills, we never would have had that conversation while you were out on your lunch break talking about how to lock that one down, right? Like you don't make that decision to join that MTR program, the rest never happens.
100%. I have a deep faith in God, and I know that God is directing my path. So whenever I look back, I don't have resentment. I don't have regret. I don't have bitterness. I know that God is with me in the battle, in the challenge that I'm in, and he's walking next to me, leading me, guiding me. So I just have faith and trust that God is leading me through it. And then even if this feels like, man, I don't feel like I got the value out of that, there is a purpose for that. Keep moving, right? Those are my beliefs and my convictions. So I just see a through line, like you just mentioned. There's a through line through everything. Not everything's going to be up and to the right. I made 150 grand on a house. Like not
you may lose 50, like you shared.
And I think I've learned more in my quote unquote failures than I have in my successes. I've learned how to what I learned in that is I need to shift my strategy and my model and my rental, like not doing midterm to short term, right? So I learned a ton during that. Yeah. So in the struggle and the trial, that's when growth happens.
I love that. Okay. So I love it's so many nuggets and sound bites that we're hearing. So now you're no longer in a W-2, correct?
As of 3/31/26, I am a free man.
That's amazing. All right. So walk us through getting to there and when you finally pulled the release, pulled the chute.
Yep. Well, from my first year in STR Secrets, I went from 0 properties under management to close to
20. And that was 2023.
23 to 24. Yeah. I had up to like 8 or 9 or 10. I forget exactly the number.
Okay.
And then the next 6 months I grew to 12 and I was not in a mastermind. And then I noticed because I'm a very driven guy. Like I'm very like focused and driven and ambitious. And I was running out of that. And another thing is I'm kind of competitive. So when I'm around other people who are like, dude, I got 15 units. Where are you at? Like, it's kind of like, dude, I got to step up. Like, what am I doing? So I wasn't in that. I grew up playing a lot of sports and being around the guys. So for me, like healthy competition has driven me forward as well. So after 6 months of not being in a mastermind, I'm like, man, I think I need to rejoin something. And I found there's a guy and he's actually a STR Secrets alumni as well. He was in the boardroom as well, I believe. Mark Mark Palmier started the Momentum Mastermind. He's in San Diego. He's doing great. I saw he went from, I don't know, 25 to 50 units. Then he bought a 30 unit company and he's growing more. He's like, I don't know, he's closer to 100 now. So I was inspired by that. So I joined his group, and I had a really rough 2025 summer where I got up to 12 and I was positioned to grow. And I actually brought on an ops manager. I'm like, I'm just going to set the table and then scale. Like that was my mentality. Hired an ops manager, hired a partner, a buddy I've known for 5 years who's worked in the hospitality space and real estate brokerage and was a door-to-door salesman for years. And so I'm like, okay, if I can position this guy with me, we can double. And I want to have fun. I like the guy. He's great. I've known him for a while. So that's been working out really well. But with that operations manager, I had to let her go because she was from Avant Stay. So I'm thinking she has great experience, and she did have good experience, and she's awesome. But there's some issue. Maybe I shouldn't say, but there's some issue that I had to let her go. Yeah. And then we lost 5 properties. So one guy lost a permit. One person
all in 2025.
In the summer of
2025. Okay.
All happened with this like within a couple of months. So I went from making, 8, 10, 12,000 in profit to hire these 2 people to lost 5 revenue sources to I'm losing money. I'm leaking.
Right. Wow.
And from August of 25 to January of 26, I lost 75 grand in cash flow. Just burned it. But I had my $200,000 a year corporate job.
Yep.
And so during that time, my faith was being tested. Like, but I was so convinced and convicted that I've heard so many, podcasts on STR Secrets, on bigger podcasts, on the Ventori, on all these podcasts of people who had 0 units, they're at 100, and 0 units, they're at 300. Like I've just over and over again that I know this thing works. And so a couple of things happened. That guy who came on board did a great job. And then we pivoted. LA has been extremely difficult to scale in because of the permitting issues and the kinds of owners. And so we branched out to Coachella Valley. Palm Springs is out there. Coachella is out there. And then we also branch out to Temecula, which is like wine country. So there's a lot of vineyards, there's weddings, there's bachelorette parties, that kind of thing. So we're in these other vacation destination markets now, scaling much faster than we are in LA. LA is just like a beast of its own. We want to get to Big Bear as well. But so we shifted strategy. I brought on this guy to help me build this thing up. And then February, I think we're back to profitable again. And in March, we did great. But I quit. I quit after 6 months of negative cash flow, 1 month of positive, and then I quit. Right. In faith. I just knew I was so convinced because I saw all the properties coming online. So we went from 7 in August of 25 to now when I quit, we had 18, 19. Now we have 20. So I just saw the momentum in the deal flow in the pipeline. I'm like, oh, we're good. We're going to kill this. So, and then also what forced my hand is my uncle who I'd worked for was basically he promoted me to VP. He wanted me to get an MBA. He wanted me to join the country club. He wanted me to fly nationwide and meet all the property managers and tenants and contractors for our whole nationwide portfolio. And I realized I can't quit in 3 months because I'm going to burn that bridge. If I go and do that and go around the whole country to shake hands and then quit, that's just like spitting in his face. So I made I prayed on it. I slept on it. I'm like, God, give me the insight, give me the wisdom, give me the knowledge, help me to make the right decision. And the next morning I woke up with clarity. I'm leaving. So
unbelievable.
Beautiful. What I love in that story is, several things, but what I love in that particular story there is you're being tested, pivoted, it wasn't all sunshine, puppy dogs, and rainbows as you were going through it, right? I'm sure. You kind of went through some of the challenges of personnel and, client losses and client challenges, revenues going down. But I really like that you were being tested, all that, and your mindset stayed consistent. Your mindset stayed strong. Your faith stayed strong. That's hard. It's hard. What I'm curious though about, because once you identified that, okay, now this is all coming together, you were like, and then you had the little kick in the butt with your uncle in that moment, which was great. What I'm curious to know is that, do you have any feeling now from where you are today and what you're looking at from today into the future, that had you gone all in sooner, do you believe that you would have been in a similar spot, right? Meaning, you had how many properties total when you lost the 5?
I had 12.
12. Okay. So then you went down to 7.
7. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and then you stay committed, the faith, which is really hard in that moment. I know a lot of people who have bounced at that moment.
Yeah, they're like, that's it. I'm going back.
I'm done. I'm out. So
hands off.
And you didn't. The reason why I'm asking it is because now you're looking at the future with no other distraction. You're all in, your partner's all in, and I got to imagine that future is looking extremely bright. You have no distractions whatsoever.
Yeah. Could I have quit earlier? I could have. I was actually planning to quit in June or July of 2025, right before I lost these 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I was prepared to, I was ready to, and then I didn't. And part of the reason I didn't is I made a decision. I said, I can't keep running these 12. I hired 2 VAs and that was helping, but I can't do a full-time corporate job and manage 12 properties at once. So I thought, why don't I just set the table, ops manager, sales guy, I'll keep running it. And then we'll scale extremely fast. And by taking on the quote unquote risk of the business by over hiring to profits to be 0. I was anticipating my profits to be 0, but it would set me up for the future, right? Because my goal wasn't to get into this business to make 15 grand a year. My goal is to make 150 grand a year. Like that's my goal. So I need to set the table for that. That's where I'm trying to hit. So I made a decision to hire, stay in the job, or it was leave and do it on my own. And I don't regret anything. How my new partner is phenomenal, and I now that I have him on the team and he's trained up, and I'm still like I'm always going to be the majority equity holder, and he's earning as he goes in sales, and he's helping out in operations a ton as well. I think it kind of worked out the way it's supposed to at this point. But now there's no distractions and I can go full in.
Right.
We're gonna scale massively fast. And I figured out getting into these other vacation markets, and also I'm gonna lose properties every year. So we need to grow way faster than I thought in the beginning. Like we need to like 10x every single year is in my mind, right? So
yes, yeah. To help you with the conversation, this is meant to really specifically to help someone else who's in similar spots. Now, I was similar to you. I built this business in addition to my W-2. It never began in my mind when I first started it as an entrepreneurial journey in the sense of I'm just going to live this life, right? So I had a calling. I always had a calling to build something for myself. I just didn't know what. I had fears. I had limiting beliefs, all the things that you went through, right? That's why it's so important to talk about these things. But I did it the same way. And I had success. I had growth. But the kind of the kick in the butt that I needed was, again, one of my mentors, a couple of them actually, said, you need to go all in. You can't, what do you want? You can't go halfway on this thing anymore. And I want to say year 1, I was, 10, 11, 12 new properties year 1. Year 2 was on the same general trajectory. And it was in year 2 where I was like, I wasn't there yet financially. I was like, I should probably do this. Made the jump. And then once I made the jump, I think I closed, 12 new clients in like 2 months. Yep. It was insane. It was just like, where the hell was this a year ago? Well, where it was I wasn't strong enough up here. So the question is certainly for other listeners, but mean, hopefully for some insight for you, because you're going to have another opportunity in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's going to look something similar, right? And yeah, just kind of curious to know your insight on that, like, you know, now that you're freed up from that, it's like, are you seeing that hockey stick? You know, are you visioning that? Are you seeing that? What's that looking like?
I think, and I don't use the term the universe, because I believe in God. God created the universe, but God blesses those people who are just sell out. They go for it, right? God will provide a path for that person, right? When someone has a desire and they want something and they go for it and they move through the fear, I think that they reap the benefits of that, like what you talked about. And so I know that's true with me as well. And I did kind of need my uncle to kind of kick me in the butt to go, oh, I got to go now. And it's going to be the best thing for me. Right. So, but I also was calculating, like, I'm losing 10 a month. I don't know. I can.
Yeah, exactly. You had the real fear where you're coming up against it. You're pressure testing it a little bit, right?
Yeah. But the truth is, in the next 6 to 12 months, my goal is to get to 60 this year. Like, we're at 20, right? So we had 2 or 3. We're probably going to close in the next week. And I'm focusing on now I can focus on social media marketing, Facebook and Instagram ads, acquisitions. I have a relationship with a banker, and want to buy some small manager companies. And then my partner has a CRM, automated bring links, voicemails, text messages, and he's doing cold calling. And we're actually right now hiring for an operations manager, to set the table for the next 2, get them dialed in on it. Because right now him and I are like kind of double teaming the operations.
Yep.
Put them in place, so just train them up, and then we can just focus on growth, like massive growth, sales, marketing, acquisitions. And that's where I'll wake up a year from now with, 60, 70, 80 properties and going, yeah, I had to leave. Like, I had to leave. Because if I didn't, I'd be, I also think too, it's like, if I don't scale fast enough, I'm going to burn out.
Yeah.
Because when you're at the smaller door counts and you have like 10, 12, 15, whatever, 20, you don't have a team. You don't have a big team in place to support you.
You're the one-man shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, when you have a team,
and
you're at scale, that's when things can really blow up.
I love what you were saying, because through your faith and trust, I heard somebody say this, is that God gives you the ingredients, but you got to do the cooking. He's going to give you everything you need to make this amazing meal. And he's going to be like, I gave it to you, but you got to figure out how to put it all together and make the chicken and the turkey and the sides and all that. I provided all. I went grocery shopping for you and everything, and I put it right here. So now you do it.
I love that.
That is good. Marya always has great quotes like that. She's awesome.
Just pulling it out of the thin air.
That's a phenomenal one, because it's true. And the ingredients are all around us. The people, right? Yes. The environment, the assets, the ideas, right? It's all around us. If we choose to leverage them, if we choose to use them and give back, right? I mean, a wasted idea or a wasted resource is the most depressing thing, right? Because it was an idea that was given and you just didn't take it and run with it, right? It's sad, really. So to be able to recognize that and realize that and say, ooh, that's an idea. And there's a couple of ingredients over there.
Yeah.
And to be the instrument to pull that together, it's beautiful.
You're the chef, baby. You're the chef of your life.
I think even God is in the background going, no, do it that way.
Yes.
There's even
he's gonna let the stove not light on, like the stove's broken, because he doesn't want you to put that together. He's like, you idiot! It's not what I meant for you to do.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't say that, but I'm sure we're very entertaining for him, and can only imagine.
That's an absolute. That's a very absolute true statement. That's not how I wanted you to use that.
Exactly. So I'm gonna have the stove not work for you. How about now? Maybe you'll get the message.
Give you a little test. I'm going to give you a little test. Here you go. See if you pass that one or not. Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of happened to me because we decided a couple of weeks ago, we're just getting drowned by onboarding new properties, and the queuing is the operation side of it at this point, because we do have deal flow. It's just it's meeting that deal flow. And so I talked to my business coach, and he said, you need a remote operations manager, like a virtual assistant from Latin America, who can oversee your VAs from the Philippines and kind of step up. And so kind of bought into that idea. We got on 4 or 5 different calls at different companies, recruiting agencies. And what I kind of came to terms with is like this, if I want to pay $2,500 to $3,000 for this person. And then basically the feedback I was getting is that they weren't going to be able to do a lot of the stuff. I'd have to train them on a lot.
Sure.
At that point, I'm like, I'll just go ahead and get someone out here who can go do property inspections, who can be an interface for the owners and the guests and the cleaning and the maintenance and oversee the VA team, right? And I can teach them, pour into them here. I think that's just much more effective. And the only thing that was holding me back from that is, actually nothing was holding me back. I just hadn't thought of it yet, but because I'm not afraid of losing money. I'm really not, because I know the goal is, like, again, $150,000 a month. Like, that's the goal. Like, so everything to that point doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. Okay. So if you had someone who is listening right now, who's going, okay, because you mentioned you had a pretty comfortable corporate job, especially with someone that you trusted, which is even more amazing. But also you were observing some things that you were like, I don't want to live like that. What do you tell somebody who's just starting to dabble with that idea of I'm comfortable, but I'm comfortable, but whatever the but is, I'm comfortable, but I don't want to work, 65 hours a week and have to wait till I'm retired before I feel like I can live life. What do you tell somebody like that to help encourage them?
That frustration or that annoyance with that idea of having to work till I'm 65, I would say get into that deeper. Like, get more frustrated, get more annoyed, because that's going to be the fuel for the fire that you're going to start your business. So think about all the things I would write on paper. Entrepreneurial life, everything I want. I get to travel. I get to scale my own business. I get to do these hobbies that I like. I get to play these sports or instruments or whatever. I get to do these things, and then write out for your life, work in corporate forever. And then see the vision, see the dream, and choose a path based on your desire and what you want, what you know on the inside is telling you that you should be taking, which I believe is God.
Yep.
And if that path is the entrepreneurial path, at that point, you need to surround yourself with individuals who are in that path, right? And in the beginning, it's listening. If I don't even know what path it is, it's like listening to podcasts, reading books, social media stuff, identifying like what kind of entrepreneurial path I want to get into, and then just take action. Taking massive action is extremely important. And there was a Diary of a CEO podcast a couple months ago with a Indian billionaire and entrepreneur, and I forget his name, but he was talking about how you can build a business at your full-time job, and it's essentially no risk. There's no risk. You still have a check every couple of weeks, and you can build it on the side.
Yep. And
you build that up to all you got to do is build that up to a point at which it can cover your expenses, and then go all in. Don't wait. Go all in. It's worth it. It'll be worth it. Your future self will thank you. Imagine waking up in 5 years, in 3, 5, 7 years, hitting that vision, hitting that dream, and think about where you would be. Are you I'm in Mammoth right now. During the week, I'm going snowboarding today. I'm no one to answer to, right? I'm running my business. I'm still involved, but I have autonomy now. I have freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of geography, freedom of relationship. And so, I mean, those would be my 2 cents on that.
Phenomenal.
It's awesome. Very similar to you. I this morning, I trained with the trainer. He's like, how was your day yesterday? And I said to him, I go, great. I said, I got to get out and play 9. And he goes, oh, must be nice. Right. And I go, and he owns his own business. And I go, well, you can do it too. I go, you got to put that team around you so you're able to go and do that. Right. He's like, that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm putting together. I go, I know you are. And he helps get me in better shape, and I help get him, thinking differently in his business.
His mind in better shape. His mindset in better shape.
Yes. Which is pretty strong. He's got a pretty strong mindset already. He's a great guy. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, you can do it too. You just got to put a better team around yourself. Like, but to your point, Jeremiah, it's like, yeah, I mean, that time, that freedom, that's the life of abundance. It's not like, again, the money's cool. It's great. Wonderful. Awesome. Right. But the true abundance to me is having the time freedom, is having, the ability to say, you know what, yesterday I look out the window, I'm like, oh, it's way too nice out. It's way too nice out. I got to go outside. I have to go do that.
Let's rearrange the schedule a little bit.
Yeah. Today. Right. I'm going to go once, we finish this up, which I'm not rushing. But I'm having lunch with my wife. Right. Like, it's those things that I was unable to do. Like, can you imagine saying to your boss, "Hey, I'm on a Thursday. Hey, I'm gonna go play golf at 10:30 today. I'll see you sometime around 1:00."
Or you going snowboarding today?
Yeah. Or you going snowboarding?
Unless you took time off. Unless you took the day off.
Yeah.
Right.
Or then on Friday, like, oh yeah, I'm going out for a couple hours for lunch with my wife. We're gonna have some cocktails and
Yeah.
Like
margaritas at margarita
like
midday margarita or whatever it is.
What are you doing? Right. But the business keeps moving. Right. We keep, I worked at different times yesterday. I worked at different times today. Right. I put systems and process and people around me. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what you're doing. So it's brilliant. Yeah, no, it was fantastic. What other words of wisdom, Jeremiah, do you have to anyone that might be in that spot that they're ready to, they're in that W-2 today, and they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to make this jump or not.
Yeah, I mean, I would just encourage them to, again, visualize, think about what you desire, think about what you want. What do you want your life to look like? Do you want to be married with kids? Do you want to travel? What are the desires of your heart? And does this really align with your dreams and your visions and your goals? Mm-hmm. And also, do you have a desire to serve people? Like, a big thing in my life is helping people get sober. I'm in an unnamed 12-step group that I'll say, and I help people get sober all the time.
Love it.
I'm active in my church, and I help people in my church. I'm on the prayer team, right? So like, what passions do you, I'm involved in Salvation Army as well. Right. So what passions do you have? What kind of people do you want to impact and influence? Mm-hmm. And think about the people that need your story, that need your presence, right? You're stuck at a job all day. You can't give them any of your time or your energy or effort, right? But like, what passions, what impact, what influence do you want to have in this life? Yes, business-wise, great, but that unlocks everything else. And so, I mean, how great, how free do you want to be?
And then you get to create the flexibility to be able to do something to serve that you might not have been able to in the middle of a day, for example.
Exactly.
Right. I love that. Man, this was so phenomenal. Before we wrap up, where can people find you to learn a little bit more about you? Just let our listeners know.
Yeah, my website is affluentvacays.com. You can find us on Instagram. I think it's at Affluent Vacays. We also have like a LinkedIn page. We're working on I'm going to hire a social media person soon and get that thing launched and ready to go. But those places.
Fantastic. Awesome. So, thank you so much. I can't wait to watch you, and in a year from now, we'll have you back on and we're going to see how many doors you got. And I just know it's going to be explosive. So I'm excited to watch your journey. Appreciate you being honest and sharing with us too, because that was pretty special.
Thank you. I had a blast.
All right. Awesome. All right, guys, you know where to reach us. Thank you so much for listening. If you guys have questions, thoughts, you guys have comments, please let us know. Reach out to Darryl and I. We're always here to listen. Reach out to Jeremiah if you've got questions, thoughts. Maybe, like he mentioned, he is passionate about sobriety, and maybe he can even be a prayer partner for you. You just never know. So, yeah, thumbs up to that.
Yep.
So, thanks so much for listening, everyone, and we'll see you on the next show.
Goodbye.